Welcome to HomeFront Sitrep. I hope you're in for a great show today because I'm just a veteran talking about what's on my mind and maybe yours.
You can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. You can also check out HomeFront Sitrep's YouTube channel.
Buckle up, the show is starting.
Good evening. Welcome to a Thursday edition of HomeFront Sitrep. You guys all know me, Candace, and tonight we have a special guest host, Samuel Deeds, who also happens to be part of who our guests are tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited for tonight's show. You know, David's been trying to get me to guest host and come on and help for a while, and I guess this was his way of doing it. You know, he dipped out tonight because I guess he has other duties at home, but yeah, I can't wait for tonight's guest and the organization. You know, I've been a part of it since day one, and as a guest of them, and then got involved as an alumni and ambassador. So I'm very, very excited for tonight's show and what David's going to bring to the table.
That's how we're doing it. We're just reeling you in little by little.
Right. I mean, I already went out and got a mic and got a headset. You know, I'm not freeing it anymore. So,
but it's a good time, right?
It is. Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
It's a really good time. So tonight we have the Blue Skies for the Good Guys and Gals Warrior Foundation. And of course we have Sam Deeds and we have David Hart and Matt Miller, and we're going to bring them on here in just a minute. That way they can really tell us about this organization and what they're doing, because looking into it and doing some research, it's like the people that you guys are connecting with and who you're doing for is super exciting for me. And I cannot wait to hear all the details about it.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, it's continued to grow since year one, and it's grown for good reasons. And, a lot of people want to come back that came through the program and be involved. So, which is a testament to what everybody's doing at Blue Skies.
That's awesome. I love to hear that. And it was great because you and I finally met in person this past week, because you came down to Shepherdsville with the Vietnam Wall, and we're all still excited about it. So we're all still talking about it. And it was great to finally meet you in person. I'm glad to be on here with you tonight and talk about some really awesome things. But without further ado, let's go ahead and bring the guys on.
Yeah, sure.
Hi, gentlemen.
Hello.
Are we ready for this tonight?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. Let's do it. So Sam was talking a little bit about it, but we're going to have David and Matt tell a little bit about their story. And then Sam, we're going to come back to you because I want people to know a little bit about your background as well.
Sure.
But if you guys want to introduce yourselves, tell us who you are, a little of your military background, and what really got you guys involved in Blue Skies.
Okay, I'll go first. So David Hart, and I am third generation Army. My son Jake is fourth generation Army, and my brother served in the Army, and my sister Candace served in the Air National Guard. And I think my background is I spent 8 years as a paratrooper, 3 years in 1st Ranger Battalion, and 175, and then I spent 5 years in Army Pathfinder Unit, and then I just kept jumping. So I know a little bit about jumping out of planes, and been around Sam Deeds quite a bit, and that brought us together. And I would say jumping out of planes has brought a lot of really cool things in my life and cool people. And very grateful for that. And I would shout out my brother John, because he's a big part of this whole thing. But and he's a veteran as well too. But I'm really proud to know Sam and know Matt. He happens to be staying at my house. We have our big programming next week, and he very kindly made a road trip with Sam and brought a bottle of Blanton's bourbon back to the house, and we're sipping on it during the show. I'm very grateful for that, and I'll let Matt.
See, those Marines are always a bad influence, but once you get a little taste of them, you just can't get enough, right?
That's it.
My name is Matt Miller. I did 6 years active duty in the United States Army, HUA. I ended up getting injured in 2009 during the tour to Afghanistan. So I was medically retired out. This is going to be my 4th year here with the organization of Blue Skies for the Good Guys and Gals. It's definitely an organization that has changed my life for many reasons. I'm currently working on my skydiving license. I'm working for my Class A license right now. So it's always good to be in good company with, other brothers and sisters that have gone through similar situations that I have. So.
Oh. It's always something special about that. All right, Sam.
No, I'm up. Sam Deeds, retired gunnery sergeant. I did 14 years and change from 97 to 2011. I was medically retired as well, but I received my wounds in Iraq in 2005. And after 30 plus surgeries, the Navy and the Marine Corps was like, "You're as healthy as you're ever going to be. Here's the door." So, and then I met a Gold Star dad of a guy that I served with, of Taylor Przinski, and his dad, John, said, the skydive team is doing this PR thing for the Ohio Challenge, which is a big balloon event that they have in Middletown, Ohio. And, they're wanting a Purple Heart recipient and a Gold Star family to jump as their PR thing. So that's where I met Dave. The first time he was my first tandem instructor. So out the plane with Dave was my first jump as a tandem. Which was really cool. And then that following year was the very first Warrior Weekend to Remember. And there were 27 of us Purple Hearts and then one Gold Star family. And then we ended up meeting another Gold Star family that they stay. They come in, they help, they volunteer. It's been a great ride with Blue Skies. And then, the main event, Dave touched on a little bit, is Team Fast Track's Warrior Weekend to Remember. So Team Fast Tracks is a commercial parachute team. We're the largest commercial team in the world. There's probably 45 members of the team. And throughout this weekend, the team members touch the event through something, whether it's the jumping or the tandems or coming out to volunteer. So I got invited back this year to be an ambassador. I've got a Army soldier that's coming in that I get to help walk him through the weekend. And if he has any questions, I'm there to answer it so he's not lost. And team members will be around as well, assigned to each person coming in. So it's a great event. It's a great time. And the people that are coming in this year have no idea what they're in for. And I mean, even the ones that I invited to come in, they know just a little bit, because you don't want to give them, the whole piece of the pie. Right.
Right. No, it sounds amazing. And the connection that you guys have with being the Gold Star families and the Purple Hearts, it's almost, I don't want to say another level, but it is another level of connection because of some of the things that you guys have been through, and being able to relate to somebody in that way. Please tell me if I'm wrong, but if you're doing tandem jumps, you're really creating that bond and that connection, and more than just sitting around a fire, which is fantastic for you guys. But to really take somebody all the way through this experience, I'm sure it's probably wild.
Yeah. I would say one of the things I'd pick up on that Sam said was John Przinski, who's on the Blue Skies board now. But that moment with Sam goes pretty far back, probably 14 years or something like that. And then we had a big part, I think, of getting involved in this veteran community is, like, so many people lives intersect. And I feel like when I first met you, Sam, we were going to a Reds game or something. And I think Haas was speaking at this thing. And it was for another veteran charity, and Haas would later end up take his life early in COVID. He was combat injured amputee, had come through blue skies, was bigger than life, but like so many, since I first met Sam, so many people have passed through our lives, myself and Sam and Matt. Matt would become really close friends with one of my cousins, Aaron Hart, who I really reconnected with through Warrior Weekend. He's not even a veteran. And he totally tricked this badass truck out and wrapped it in Blue Skies patriotic stuff and shows up for stuff and takes road trips. And they went on a Purple Heart cruise together, and it just, I think that's one of the things that I like most about it is all the connections that happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like with the Gold Star family members, we can never replace the ones that they love. But, Sam, myself, and other Purple Heart veterans and Dave and, the ones that have served, we kind of fill that void a little bit because they can see their son or daughter in one of us. And so we establish that relationship with these Gold Star families, and they become, the Zanowicks are my second mom and dad, never replace Rocky, but I'm there for them. And, I want to be, what they want. So.
Yeah, they've got a couple hundred additional sons and daughters for sure. They just grab a hold of you. And, one of the events we do is we do a multi-gun shoot. I think one year it was like 20 something different platforms. And, we used to do a competition where you got paired with a teammate or paired with a sponsor. And, we were down on the range the first year, and I went to introduce them to John Brzezinski, who's the Gold Star dad, and they already knew him. And I turned around and looked, and they had the Gold Star pin on, their shirts. And then I turned and realized that the range that we were shooting on was dedicated to their son. They have come full bore in from, doing the range to coming up to doing a skydive to volunteering and showing up all the time for, fundraising events or just, like PR stuff or, just making awareness of the program or just getting together as a Blue Skies family and hanging out and dealing with everybody. So, this time of year, it's a huge family reunion. It truly is. And I think one year there was 15 or 20 of us from 3rd Battalion, 8th Marines, whether it was, guys that actually served in the unit or families of the fallen that were there. And the whole stage was covered with nothing but 3rd Battalion, 8th Marine guys. And it's like, is there any other units out there? All you guys are from the same unit, but that just shows the impact that it had on my life. Cause I'm telling all the guys I served with, they're telling all the guys they served with. And, it becomes a 3-8 party, with everything else. But there's been so many connections that were made at Warrior Weekend that just happened organically that we had no clue was going to happen. And, there was a Gold Star family who showed up with a Purple Heart recipient, and they're like, Groves, I know you and their sons served together. So, it was just crazy how some of those things work out. And then that year I did the tandem skydive. Tyler Warndorf's mom, it was a surprise. I had no idea she was going to be there, but I put Tyler in the Marine Corps and she came out and did the tandem skydive as well. So it was myself and John Brzezinski, his son Ryan and Tina Warndorf. And, I can't do anything to, replace Tyler. I put him in the Marine Corps as his recruiter. I served with him in 3rd Battalion, 8th Marines. And then, Tina and I reconnected after that, and she has nothing but love for me and, appreciates everything I did for her son. And now through Blue Skies, we're honoring, Tyler and her family, and his name lives on because we keep speaking his name, and the same thing with Taylor Warndorf or Taylor Brzezinski, we keep saying his name. And, when I said the other night, we have the honor member flag that we fly that has 500, 600 names of, fallen service members on it. And every time that flag flies, that service member is flying with whoever's jumping that flag. So I just saw Willis jump on and.
Oh, well, we talked about it, didn't
right?
we? We knew you were coming. We knew it, Willis. Well, there's something like the more you talk about it, we're looking at these families that their sons served together and even ones that you served with. And you of course, you can pound that into the ground as far as you can that you're never going to replace. But to be able to bring these families together and then have you guys, their brothers, be able to intermingle with these families and create that unit that almost just fills a void. It's like you said, it's never going to replace, but it's you're able to find a happiness out of it and share memories and do these things together. Oh, it's like I got goose pimples just thinking about it. But in like we've really went into these things, but I really want to know more about. Tell us more about what Blue Skies does. What is the true focus? Is it just Purple Heart and Gold Star? Is it like, where all of you guys do these? Give us more details.
I think if I look back on before there was a Blue Skies, the team was traveling and supporting veteran events. And there was one down in Texas that I think we thought was pretty cool. And they ran a Warrior Weekend, and they just threw together as many cool things as you could do in a weekend in one place. Night bow fishing, and we were doing tandems into Texas Motor Speedway, and then they'd ride around NASCAR. And then, it's like, hey, let's do this in Ohio. And that led to Sam coming through early on through the program when it was really immature. But the idea was, and the concept still is valid, is just throw together a bunch of really cool, badass American fun and pay for all their travel expenses. And it's all really trickery to get people there so you can love on them and they can become part of this community. So, and the joke's on them because, you got to do all this fun stuff, but now you leave with a bunch of new friends, like really high quality relationships. Yeah. And doing the activities turns out to be the stuff that starts the conversation at the bonfires, but then the conversation quickly leads to like some real deep healing kind of conversation. Mm-hmm. That's not just about the jump and the gun shoot and the parade and all that other stuff. That's what I think.
And the caveat off of what David said is that, I've been to a few other events where, you come, you meet some people and, you might connect with them down the road. But this organization has truly kept that promise. Like, I came to the weekend. I thought I was going to do some cool things, meet some people, and then just be forgotten about. Right. Like I said, this is my 4th year attending, and I'm providing the service back to the organization now as the lead medic and also being a member of Team Fast Tracks. But it gave me that simple sense of purpose, and Sam and I have become really good friends. Dave and I, are really good friends. I'm staying at his house, but that's the connection that we built. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's something that you guys will never lose ever until the end of time. It's something that the bond that you guys have in your service, and then having something like this and creating that so much stronger. It's like you said, it's that Blue Sky family, and having those Gold Stars families, having you guys to come and support them. And I'm sure that the things that you guys do and the phone calls that you make are not always about Blue Sky events. I'm sure there's many things that you guys get squirreled into and happily, I'm sure. Is that something that you guys often see, especially with these Gold Star families, of like, hey, like this is a personal relationship now?
Well, I live in upstate New York, right outside of Syracuse, New York. We became really good friends with and close with the Zanowicz family. This Memorial Day weekend, we came out to help sponsor Rocky's Run that they do every year. That was a 7.5 hour drive that I didn't have to make, but it's that love and commitment for the Zanowicz family that it's not a burden to drive 7.5 hours.
Yeah.
I think I'm trying to think of. I'm listening to you talk like some of the unique things that it pulls us into, and it's a pretty amazing long list that we could go on for quite a while about. Someone goes, hey, can you guys jump into this funeral, or can you guys jump into this parade, or can you jump into we've opened the Marine Corps Marathon, and I've jumped into Normandy, France on the anniversary of D-Day, and jumped with Warriors ashes and released their ashes over special places, and just and really small. Sometimes those are grand things, but sometimes they're small gestures, acts of kindness that you remember. And I'm sure Sam can think of some. And and you can too, where we've just been. I remember we had a World War II vet, Bill Wilch, that was first wave Omaha Beach, 2 Purple Hearts. He was a character. He's from Middletown, and he became very good friends with everybody on the team. He would show up for our jumps, and he just really loved the team, and he essentially became part of it. And we ended up jumping with his ashes after he passed away. And we used to have a 5K that we had as part of Warrior Weekend to honor him. And I don't know. Can you guys think of
I mean, even with Bill, we did some home improvement stuff at his house that really needed to be done because, he got older and couldn't do it himself. And, with the price of building materials and labor and everything else on a fixed income, he just couldn't do it. So as a team, we got together and ripped out his bushes and painted new ones and redid his deck and windows and things like that just to make his house more livable again. And, we got the Muddy Buddies Jeep Club. I mean, so many they put out an email and we'll have 60, 70 Jeeps show up for events. I mean, we'll do a night jump in the fields lined with Jeeps, and they just light up their halogen lights and their LED lights to light the field. So we don't have to bring out our light sets to do it. And, that's something they do with the kindness of their heart. Or, Veteran Motorcycle Club comes out and they help lead the parade or lead guys to and from the airports. And I mean, there's just so many different clubs and groups to, VFWs, the Legions, the Military of the Purple Heart, the USO used to be involved pretty heavily with the organization, that just come together and just give their love and everything's out of the kindness of their heart. And they don't expect anything in return, which is truly amazing that they don't want anything. They want to meet the honored guests. They want to hang out around them. They want to hear their life events, their stories, whatever you want to call it. And, we tell them, if you want to hang out, you can hang out, but, you're going to hear some stuff and you just kind of have to, take it in. And, these guys don't want you to fix them. They just want to get, some stuff out. But, and I think for me coming in through year one, not knowing what to expect, I mean, it was gun shooting, it was skydiving, it was vintage aircraft rides, it was a Reds baseball game. And then I think I left 15 pounds heavier because every time I turned around, we were eating. But coming back year 2 as an ambassador to help that next year's group, and more Gold Star families were invited in. That is when I found my new purpose and my new sense of being, because being a leader, mentor, training Marines for 14 plus years, and then getting out unexpectedly, like right within 2 weeks of, hey, by the way, you're retiring, and then retire. I didn't have any. Right. So finding the team and Blue Skies helped give me my new sense of direction. And, I've worked with, oh my goodness, I can't tell you how many nonprofits with, starting with Blue Skies and still work with a couple different nonprofits. And it's because I get to give back. I get to share those experiences with guys and girls and the families that, sometimes get forgotten about. And, you asked David, is it just Purple Hearts and Gold Stars? A few years ago, we had the widow of a fallen police officer. So every year since, we've had at least one fallen law enforcement family come in. And then also we've opened it up to those that we know for sure, like a referral type basis of that has post-traumatic stress or traumatic brain injury, that would definitely benefit being around like-minded people or people that had experienced similar things that they had.
Yeah. It's, you were talking about the clubs and things that come together and the other VSOs, and, you guys are still serving. It's a true servant's heart. And when you see that, that those people are in it for the right reason. And it's the best people to come in contact with. And it's the best people to share with other people as well, because it truly is that epitome of a servant's heart where there are no expectations. It's not about them. It's everything that you get to see and experience and what somebody else is pulling from that experience. And it's pretty cool.
Sam mentioned the police widow, and her name was DJ Corson, and she's very involved in the event still, and she's the entertainment chair. So I think I think what I'm getting at there is we try to involve people in there and touch the event in some way. and she's been with it now for a while, and she's done a lot of other things too. And she has her own nonprofit things she does. But I think that's kind of a unique aspect of it too, is that we try to keep bringing people back to be part of it.
Yeah.
And there's Dory. Dory's been there a couple times.
Another police widow.
She's another police widow, and it's our first responders are just as important. They put their lives on the line every day, just like our military men and women do.
Matt, I think they do it more often, right? So when in country, you're not going outside the wire every single day. There's something that might happen at the fob or the cop, but you're not going out every single day. Like you said, the police officers, the EMTs, the firefighters are out every single day. And honestly, I think they do more traumatic events than I did, in 14 plus years. And what I didn't say is he's, firefighter EMT back in his, civilian job too, other than being a veteran. So he's still serving his community too, not just, what he does here with Blue Skies and what he does.
I try not to brag too much about myself, Sam.
I'll do it. I'm not afraid.
He's not a Marine.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bragging. It's.
Well, give him just a little bit. He's got a little bit more of that Blanton's, and he'll be all over.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah.
And this isn't about me. Like when I first came, the very first time I ever came to the Blue Skies event, it was about me. Now the second, third, and this fourth year is about the ones that are in my position when I was 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. And so I want them to experience the greatness and the satisfaction and, the love and appreciation that I received from an organization. And so it's all about them.
Yeah, I think that's important to, and I think that Matt and Sam embody that, and my brother and all the people on the skydiving team and all of our volunteers, they just are authentic. They have no hidden agenda. They just want these people to bond and heal and connect and just have a great time. And there is no other goal. And everything, just all the goodness flows out of that authenticity and zero hidden agenda. We own no real estate. We have no glass buildings that, it's just people trying to create goodness for other people. And we happen to be very passionate about, veterans and first responders. And we suck other people into the gravity of our enthusiasm. And, we're always recruiting people to volunteer and do things. And,
our motto, we're one family.
We're only 30 minutes in, right? And I'm sitting here like, how do I get involved? Because really the goose pimples I've had already are just like, how could you not go to something like this and not want to come back? You would, it's like, okay, how do I help the next time? How do I get to go and experience and watch these people have this warmness reach their heart? And it's like, I couldn't imagine seeing something like this in person and not wanting to continue being a part of it and not wanting to try to integrate yourself within this family. And I don't know, it's talking about the servant heart. You veterans, tends to be a thing. You guys already served your country and you feel this need to continue serving. And especially those that may have experienced something that you have or even something similar, the like minds. But I don't know. It always amazes me to watch you guys do this because you signed a check. You served your time. Sometimes not as long as what you planned. Some of you planned to do it longer, and some of you maybe thought maybe I wanted to get out before that. But then not only to find something good for yourselves and a peacefulness in your mind, but when you're looking for that help, what's it turn into? Like Sam, you went into Blue Skies looking for a group to kind of help ground yourself a little bit, but you turned around and look at what you're doing. And I'm sure it's the same for both of you. You were seeking something to maybe calm your storm, but then all you do is you turn around, you serve others and you bring them together. And I don't know. I've been in the veteran community for 20 years and it's like almost anything you can get your hands in and grabbing that veteran that you can help and give that hand up, and then provide another resource for them. That's
Seeing the second time comers, come back, is truly inspirational because you can see the bigger smile on their face before they showed up. You can see that, they're more open to having those conversations with, individuals. Like when I first showed up, I was secluded and, I didn't really want to tell my story. And, day after day after day of just, people pulling at you and pulling, not like, anything bad, but, just opening it up to them. And, you finally broke down and you felt relieved. And so then the next year you come back and you kind of catch up to right where you left off. And next thing you know, you're staying at their house and you're ready to go on a distillery tour and, and everything else.
Brain blends back there.
So, it's that camaraderie that a lot of us need, want, desire. You get that camaraderie here.
Something I like about being around military guys is that that sense of humor and sarcasm, and just kind of, it's fun to be there.
Yeah. But you have to
you can't find it anywhere else.
Candace, I saw on your profile you're medical, so I mean you have to have a dark sense of humor.
I'm a what?
You're in the medical field?
No. What Candace did you look at?
Isn't that what the thing said? She was in the medical field?
Where were we at the pre thing we were looking at?
No, that's a different.
Oh no, you're talking about Monica.
That's Monica.
I'm sorry.
No, well, it's okay. So I do this, and then of course I have my nonprofit that I do help military and first responders, and I've been doing that for quite a while. I've been doing like I said, the veteran community, first responders for the past 20 years, and started a bakery to fund my nonprofit, and then of course here I am on the podcast, and yeah, it's anything that I can help. I serve those that serve. That's who I am. I'm your biggest fan, your patriot, and your advocate. That's who I am.
Awesome.
I tried to serve. I just couldn't. I got diagnosed with some things that prevented me from doing that. So I just got to keep going and serving you guys because that's why I'm here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, coming in that first year of Warrior Weekend, it was a shock of David's laying out all these things that we're doing, and I'm like, are we gonna sleep? He's like, listen, if you want to sit around and eat Cheetos in your Speedo and oil yourself up with baby oil, you can do that. And I'm like, what the hell did I get into? But everything's not mandatory to do. We highly recommend and we highly suggest that you participate in everything so you can get the full experience of the weekend. But it's not like we're holding your hand saying you're going for a flat dive, whether you like it or not.
Do you guys provide Monster and Red Bull?
I mean, sometimes.
That could be a thing. You can get a sponsor from that.
Yeah. But I mean, going through, and then even that first year, you could see how timid and shy some of the people were. And then probably by day 3, I say, people started opening up, and then there were little groups talking here and there. And then coming back in that following year as an ambassador, especially me being a former Marine recruiter, I watch their body language. I watch the people. I'm like, oh, that one's going to take a couple of days. That one's going to take a little bit longer. This dude's going to have zero problem whatsoever. He's just going to go at it full bore as soon as he walks in. But you see the transition in these guys and girls and the families as they come in, especially the Gold Star families, and when they connect with another Gold Star family, because they truly have experienced the same situation, right? The loss of a loved one, whether it's a widow or the mom and dad, the siblings who always get forgetting about, the siblings. I mean, everybody talks about the Gold Star child and the Gold Star mother, but there's hardly any conversation about the Gold Star father and the Gold Star siblings. And, I wish that line of communications would open up a lot more, but, we as Blue Skies include the Gold Star family, right? It's not just mom. It's not just the widow. It's not just the kids. It's everybody in the family that was affected by the loss of their loved one. And you get to see from the, oh, what did I get myself into, to this is truly what I needed. And, you know,
Can't wait for the next one.
I'm a testament of it. Matt's a testament. I mean, we're still here. I mean, my first time was 2014. This is the 10th Warrior Weekend. You know, COVID, we had a Warrior Weekend reunion, just a little small group at the hangar at the airport, but it was everybody that participated in Warrior Weekend that could make it in, you know, on their own dime to come in, and a lot of people showed up. You know, so this will be the 10th Team Fast Tracks Warrior Weekend to remember. And like I said, it just keeps growing. We've gone from a hotel to a camp up in Miamisburg, and we're all housed in one compound, if you will. And it's just a whole lot of fun, and hilarity ensues. And David, you're going to be kept on your toes this year with Luke when he comes in, because that dude, he's off the chain just as much as Daniel is. So we'll see how those two. That's going to be fun.
Yep. Looking forward to it.
Wow. So you keep talking about the Warrior Weekend. So is it just once a year that you guys have something going on with Blue Skies?
We have some programming throughout the year.
But the big weekend is always the second weekend of August, you know, it seems like. And
yeah. So we had a Dayton Dragons game. We have a baseball game outing that we've done. And we've done knife making. We have a Christmas party.
Yep.
We have a partnership with Grainworks Brewing Company in Westchester, and they make a hero brew that they've canned, and we put our alumni on the cans, and we have alumni come in and be part of the brewing and the canning.
Now, is that part of your guys' fundraising that you do to provide this? Oh, that's really awesome. Sam, do that again. Put that up in that camera.
My goodness.
Yeah,
you were so cute then.
Do what?
You know, I said you were so cute then.
That was during a Warrior Weekend. We had Aaron Tippin come in, and every time he sings Working Man's PhD, he puts a BMX bike together. And we had reached out to the Marine Reserve Center to send somebody to receive the bike for Toys for Tots, and they never responded. And I was rocking a beard. They're like, "Hey, do you mind putting on your dress blues? We need you to do this." So that was one of the Warrior Weekends. So that's not back then. That was like, I don't know, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So that's not too awful long. I can still fit in my uniform, unlike some people I know. But yeah, and to answer your
question, Sam, thanks.
To answer your question, Candace, when they did the canning, a portion of the proceeds came back to Blue Skies. And then when they sell, you know, the pint in the distillery, the brewery, $1 from every pint comes back to Blue Skies as well.
Oh, awesome. Okay. So what's the name of that distillery? Because we got to shout them out.
Grainworks in Westchester, Ohio.
Grainworks. So if you are around, or you can order out of state, like we need to check out that Grainworks.
I don't think they currently have inventory right at this moment. They don't keep it constantly.
Sam, should I grab my
hit them up and ask them for it? If you're
you want to support that, because look at how much that they're doing for you guys. And if there's a distillery that's doing something like that for our veterans and their families and our responders, like, go support them for sure.
Hey, should I grab the Jay Mattingly bottle?
Oh yeah, the new one. Yeah. So through one of the other events that I am co-chair of, we do the Mogadishu Mile that I spoke about the other day, and Jay Mattingly down in Frankfurt did a Mogadishu Mile bottle, and they did $20 from every bottle comes to Blue Skies, and we split it with Three Rangers Foundation. We went through the Mogadishu Mile. Hold on.
I would say those were almost out, because I was tagging everybody in those, and now that I know that there was money going back to this, I'm so.
Yeah, so this is this year's bottle.
Yeah.
And it went in 5 weeks. 5 weeks they sold out 500 bottles. So
thank you for that, Mike.
Yeah. So Jay Mattingly, their staff and everybody's like, "Hey, we want to do something more."
Yeah.
So they did, I think 200 of these POW bottles, and there's 200 10th Mountain bottles, and $20 from each bottle is being split between Blue Skies and Three Rangers Foundation as well.
It tastes good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Mike Tilton jump
I
on there.
would,
Hi, Mike.
well, if you come just a little bit farther south, Matt, I would say welcome to Kentucky. You're going to be tasting a whole lot of yumminess.
I love Bourbon, but yeah, this
Sam, you're going to have to bring him down sometime.
this Jay Mattingly is definitely jet fuel, so it's good.
It's a little
Goodness.
stout.
So, okay, let me ask personal level. Sam, you've been with the organization the longest out of the three of you?
No, David. So David is so he's a co-founder of Team Fast Tracks, which started in 2002, and he's one
Okay.
of the co-founders, and he's the actual head of Blue Skies. So David is the brain trust behind Blue Skies and Warrior Weekend.
But as far as coming in as a participant,
Yeah. So of the three of us, I came in 2014, that first year.
so what I want to know from you and Matt, and coming in your first Warrior Weekend, what do you think? Was there a moment that it hit you that this is your family, this is where I'm supposed to be, that was so impactful to you? Like, do you remember that moment and what that was?
Yeah. So for me, there were, like I said, there was 27 Purple Heart recipients, and then the one
Mhm.
Gold Star father. So sharing, that entire weekend, with John Krasinski, was very eye opening to me, because it made me realize that there was something that I could do in my life to honor the guys that are no longer here. And Matt touched it on it earlier. There may be something that these Gold Star families see in us, and it might be the shape of your eyes, the little smirk you have, some gray in your beard, or whatever that reminds you of their loved one, and they're going to gravitate to you a little bit more. And so anything that you can do, to keep their loved ones alive and their name going, that's that right there. The entire weekend for me was very eye opening to me. And then becoming a member of Team Fast Tracks and doing what they do. And, I got to give Dave all the credit. We were jumping into the Military Bowl one year, and there was a young lady who was from the area, or her family was from the area, who'd been killed in a helicopter crash. She was a Marine pilot, and Dave printed off a bunch of pictures for her. And she's like, "Hey, I'm going to honor her this weekend, and we're going to take these pictures back and give back to her family." And then that following year, I'm like, why can't we do this for every jump? So every single jump of ours is dedicated to a fallen service member or fallen first responder. And we try to get it, on the day, like today, we'd research to see who was killed on this day, Iraq, Afghanistan, and print off a photo and take a picture of it before they jump in the plane. And then they jump with it, fold it up in their pocket, which is right near their heart. They land, getting the big cheers, and then they all line up again and take an after photo with the creases and everything in it. Then they fold it up and put it back in their pocket, or they try to give it to somebody and educate somebody on who that person was. And most of the time, we don't even know who the person is. We've never met them before, never met their family. But that was all started because of David, wanted to honor somebody from, the local area. And, that tradition has continued with the team. And, for Warrior Weekend, we've lost 5 teammates over the year through accidents, and we honor them throughout Warrior Weekend. We actually just lost another teammate here not too long ago, who was killed in a plane crash on his way back home, and he had just recently been selected to the team. So Adam Plummer will be honored this year. And that means a lot to us too, that we keep our teammates names alive too. And Adam was a Marine at one point in time, and some of the other teammates, Ron was in the Navy, and then Nate and Christian and Larry were all in the Army all at different times, but they were all our brothers and they were all our teammates. So we honor them everywhere we go. They're on our team coin. I just added Adam's initials to our new coin that'll be coming in here soon. So, then we have the honor member flag that we have all the Gold Star families, or families of the loved ones sign their information, their name, and a little note, and we honor them every time we jump it. And that flag gets jumped quite often. And matter of fact, we jumped at the Kentucky Veterans Hall of Fame introduction ceremony on the 7th in Lexington, and then it'll be jumped throughout Warrior Weekend.
Nice. I love it.
Paul and Nina Zanowick were the first ones to sign that flag, and I just wanted to say that like Sam gives me credit for the idea, but I would say Sam's actually the person who follows through and makes it a reality. And that was the same thing with the honor and member flag. Like we had the idea, but Sam actually is the one that made it a reality. And you know, and there's.
We lost you, Dave.
You muted.
My bad. One dead. There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, I was just like, just want to comment that like Sam is definitely the detail guy, man. And that gold star flag has a lot of signatures on it. And I remember talking about that with him, but Sam made that a reality, and all those jumping in with all those pictures and everything and that actually has a profound impact. It's a small thing, but when you see those people and the look on their face, you've done that for them. It also gives the people on the team, other people on the team, to be part of that mission and be part of that impact. But
yeah.
Anyways,
well, I mean, before I give my answer, the kind of caveat of what Sam said, the greatest casualty of war is being forgotten about. And so every time that we jump and we do a performance and we're saying, that fallen hero's name, they're never being forgotten about. And so I challenge everybody that's on this video, every time you see one of those road signs, that is dedicated to a fallen service member, say their name out loud.
Yeah.
That keeps them from being forgotten about.
Absolutely.
Matt, before you go, I will say this podcast specifically, I served with the host. I served with David, and I will tell you, him and Candace are the first ones that will tell you if you're talking about a fallen service member and they're like, say his name. Yep. Say his name. They will force you to say their name. I mean, or they ask you to say their name because they want to know who it is. They want to know their name. And, they had just had the Cost of Freedom down there. And, I came on the podcast last second as a fill-in, and we were talking about something, and Candace was like, say his name. And she went and found his name on the wall. And I had left there. I took a photo of most of the Gold Star families that I could remember that have come through Warrior Weekend. I took a photo of their loved one's name and then drew a circle with it and then sent it to them privately. Just to let them know I was thinking about their loved one. And
a lot of us do remember, we either, do a mental check or we put it into our phones. Yeah. When we, connect with these Gold Star families, we put, their son or daughter's, KIA day. Well, and we remember that, and we send them a private message, Facebook, text, on Facebook or whatever, remembering their son or daughter, so. Yeah. But
Matt, I got home and I forgot one. And I reached out to Willis. I'm like, dude, is there any way you can go over there and take a picture of this for me? I want to get it to his dad. So Matt Rowland.
He left. Yeah. He's like, Candace.
Yep. So Candace went and did it. And as she was over there was a guy that was walking around with some pink roses. And the guy gave Candace a rose and said, I want you to have this for the person that you're remembering.
And he was a veteran. This person was a veteran, and he was placing those for his brothers and sisters. And
so I sent that picture to his dad, Mark, who is also a veteran. Mark ended up coming down on Monday to see it. He came to Lexington and he got to see it.
I love it. I hope he knows that rose there was there.
And I did. I told him, and him and his wife are greatly appreciative of it.
You just gave me more goose symbols, Sam.
But unlike me, Matt here had an ambassador to help him out, and we were already probably 5 deep by the time Matt had come. So things were tweaked a little bit more, and then we just lose them again.
Yeah.
So, good
timing tonight.
Ohio,
they're doing good.
But so I didn't have that ambassador come through, so I experienced everything completely organic when I came through. And those following years, again, there was somebody to help them walk through, if you will, or answer questions that they may have had to get to. I think David said that his battery was dying. So maybe he'll switch over to the laptop and
back to the other.
But yeah, and then earlier you posted something on there, shark bite. From Mike Tilton. Yeah, so the story behind that is I've got a pretty gnarly scar from a surgery, and it does on the front looks like a shark bite. And I used to go to the beach, and kids would point, and I'd be like, "Yeah," and it happened right over there by the pier. And the kids would go running to their family crying, and they'd come to me and like, "Oh, why would you tell a kid that?" I'm like, "Why would you teach a kid to point at somebody's deformities and disabilities?"
Right.
So I tell this, and then Mike's son is like saying something to me, and I showed him. I was like, "Man, it's a shark bite. Look at that." And so that's what his son calls me now. His son doesn't call me Sam or Sam. It's shark bite. So anytime that they come on, it's shark bite, and even his wife Emily's like shark bite. So Adam, Mike, and Emily, I'm shark bite. So if they're still on and listening, but yeah, hopefully David comes on and
they're trying to pop back on, but they're not.
You can get Matt's answer, but I mean, again, it's. For me as an ambassador,
I have a totally different question for David. So
yeah. So for me as an ambassador, I got a little bit of compassion fatigue, and I took a little bit of a break, and I still would show up every now and then to Warrior Weekend, but I wouldn't stay the entire time. I just needed that time to reflect on myself and gather my thoughts before I got fully back into it. But yeah, now that they're back on, it looks like they're they're trying to figure out which camera they're operating on now. So we'll let Matt.
Supposed to feed the laptop the blankets. That's just for you.
We're two grunts just trying to I think it's there. I think it's there.
But
because they got Army. That's why.
Matt, you're gonna have to get a little bit closer.
I almost expect this out of the Marines, but.
Where am I looking at, Dave? I don't know.
No, you don't have to be
close. This one. Is it?
All right.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah, now it's a party.
All right. Let's get back a little bit, brother. I don't know how far back I can go. No, you're good. It's reversed, man.
Oh my God! All right, Matt, we got you.
It's hilarious.
All right.
Can you not see yourself on the screen? Do you not know what's going on?
It's flipped, Sam. I don't know how mirrors work.
This is your way.
Too much plans.
So, Candace, back to your question. So, my favorite part of the whole event is the campfire nights. Every night we have a campfire. You got music in the background. You got people connecting with each other, and that's where the dark stories come out. Not the gross, gruesome, but where I was hurting the most. Where my battle buddy to my left was hurting the most. That's where those stories come out, and the true feelings and the emotions start flying. Last year, with Aaron's truck, he has a big sound system all over it and everything, and so there was just maybe 8 or 10 of us out there by this point, and we started playing sad songs, and we all needed that cry. And so we're just listening to these songs that just, make you want to bawl your eyes out. And, and that's what the 8 or 10 of us needed was, to sit there and cry and be able to, lean on one another. So it was a good time. I love the campfires.
And that's what sucked you in.
Yeah. With that and, jumping out of an airplane.
Yeah, then he tries out to become a member of Team Fast Tracks, and now he's traveling the states with me every now and again.
Yeah, traveling the states, and now I'm working on my Class A skydiving license. I did a jump Monday, and I did a jump today, but the weather's not cooperating. But it's jumping out at 13,500 feet opens up your eyes. It really does. It kind of makes me appreciate life even more because, in a matter of seconds, my life could be done.
Yeah.
Skydiving. But it's that sense of accomplishment. It's that sense of rush. It's the adrenaline. It's feeling, the camaraderie with other skydivers. them telling me I can do this. And,
Mhm.
you know, and that's all veterans need, is just that little bit of push. Like, you can do this. You can make tomorrow better than today.
Yep.
You know, so, you know, it's just, it's a journey, and you have to be willing to take on that journey.
I love that.
And I think a lot of it too is you got to realize that you still have worth and value, right?
Right.
And that's the biggest part of, you know, leaving, whether you did your 4 years or 40 years. You get out and you don't know what you're going to do next, right? You don't have that sense of accomplishment is over because you're retired, or, you know, you got out and you're trying to move on to something else, and, you know, maybe what you're doing isn't fulfilling. I mean, I got out and started working at a security job at DHL, and it just wasn't what I wanted to do. And, you know, I called home. I'm like, babe, do I need this job? She's like, nah, you're good. So I quit. I quit on my son's birthday. The only thing I've ever quit other than my first marriage. You know, and I was done. And then I found Blue Skies and the team, and now I'm bringing 8 up with it. I'm gone, you know, 80, 90, you know, performances a year.
Well, it's a matter of finding your purpose, and, you know, and I think when you're actually living your purpose, you have that fulfillment. So finding ways that you're filling up your cup so that you can fill others too.
Yeah. And it's not a job. And I tell the boss all the time,
Right.
listen, when it becomes a job, I'm done.
Right.
You won't see me anymore. You know, I'm still having fun. You know, I'm still making, you know, new friends like in Matt and some of the other guys that have come through and become new members of the team or come through Warrior Weekend. And, you know, and it's a good balance of home life too. You know, I'm home long enough to get on my wife's nerves, and then I'm gone long enough for her to miss me. So it's a really good balance of that.
Perfect.
But then, you know, there's time that I want to go. And she's like, hey, you're stop. You need to take a break. You need time for you. You need time for the family. And I think that's what I think I messed up with the first 8 years I was involved in Blue Skies, is I didn't take that break for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was at every event. I was at every fundraiser. I was at every PR thing. And I got that,
you were also pulling from those for you.
Yeah. Well, and it's, you know, you get compassion fatigue, you get mental fatigue, and it just hit me hard. And then I was like, I need to step away for a little bit. I'm not going forever. Trust me, I'm not going forever. You know, you guys made a huge impact on my life. I'll be back. It's just going to be when I'm ready. And, you know, I haven't stepped away. I mean, I showed up for stuff, or would show up for a couple hours during Warrior Weekend, and I'd take off just because, you know, I needed that little bit of fill my cup a little bit. But, you know, for me, my reset is I go fishing. You know, that's my reset. I get to focus completely on fishing. I don't have to focus on anything else other than trying to catch a fish. And so a couple times a year I go fishing, and now a couple times a year I go on a cruise, or we go off to the condo down in Gulf Shores, and I just sit on the beach and just watch and listen to the waves, or I'll sit on the balcony and watch and listen to the waves. But I mean, that's my reset now. And I'm trying to get Matt, and hopefully his wife, you know, can give him the ominous dominus to come fishing with me here in a few weeks, but we'll see.
Don't get yourself in trouble. So, David.
Yes.
I have to, as a co-founder, and please forgive me and remind me what year that it was actually co-founded, because you said you were working on things prior, but when was it?
So I suppose, you know, you have to go back, Sam, like 10, 11 years or something like that. So
14 was the first Warrior Weekend. So I think July of 14 was the first weekend. So sometime before that, late 13, early 14.
Okay. So a decade ago, let's say.
Yep.
And watching the things that have happened over those 10 years, the connections made, the networking, the brother and sisterhood, the families brought together. Do you have something, and I know this is going to be crazy to ask, is there something that's so profound that, of course, this is never about us. It's not about the I, but is there something so impactful that has made you proud that this has developed in the way that it has?
So I've had many experiences of people who have gone through a day of activities, multiple days, one day, and they pull me aside. They bump into me somewhere over the course of the weekend, and they look at me with the most sincere look and just are start crying. And they just have this great gratitude for all these volunteers, for all these ambassadors. And they're just so grateful that they're there and that there's these people who just give of themselves and pour into other people for no other reason than for them to just heal. And I personally think it's God working through all of us. I'm a man of faith, but whatever you believe, there's no doubt that you're in the presence of something really special and really unique. And it's not any one person. It's the collective of all these people with just pure intentions, man. And it does something to people, and they open up their hearts, and it transforms them. And I've just experienced that countless times. Every time that I feel that, I feel gratitude for all those volunteers and ambassadors and people that involve themselves, and the sponsors and everybody that just understand that and continue to invest their time and energy and talent in it. I call the bonfire night a bond, BOND fire. It's a bond fire. And that's, it's just kind of like what we all experience when you're around. Something about a fire, it hypnotizes you, and you're just sitting there staring at it.
Yeah.
We used to have the big concerts like Sam talked about, Aaron Tippin and Lone Star, but we've gotten down to just these really talented, unknown artists mostly. Sometimes they're high profile people, but it's just them with a guitar and 100 people around a bonfire just chilling and talking and in these sidebar conversations. And it's goodness, man. It is just pure. And yeah.
And the volunteers and I love all the volunteers for the organization. I really do. But the Muddy Buddies stick out to me the best. They drive 3, 4, 5 hours to come down and offer their Jeep. So a veteran like me or a veteran like Sam, can get into their Jeep with no top on and stand on their seats. And, as we're driving down in the parade, waving and, acting a fool, those, the Muddy Buddy group is phenomenal.
Those Jeep and bike clubs and groups, I tell you what, even if it's not all veterans, like the most just amazing advocates, they always show up. They're true patriots and really there to serve their heroes and to show that respect and honor them. And it's so awesome to watch, because like doing the escort with that wall this past week and watching multiple different Jeep clubs and multiple different bike clubs and groups, because they're not all clubs, and watching them come together with it, like, so everything's so neutral, because the only thing they're there for is to honor those heroes. Yep. And truly what they're there for, and they show up no matter what every time.
Yep. And they got some badass Jeeps too.
Yeah, they do.
Well, I would say that there's something about a person who buys a Jeep that I own one. I own a Wrangler. It's not a very practical vehicle because you can't really haul shit in it. It has the aerodynamics of a cow, and it rides like a lawnmower, and but you love it. You drive it, and you buy it, and they probably.
I'll be the one to say it. It's just like a woman. But you have a lot of fun with it, don't you?
It costs a lot.
There's probably a firearm. There's probably a firearm tucked somewhere in it, and they're just like American, and they're just like, yeah, sure, I'll show up. I'll do that. That sounds awesome. Let's do it.
Yeah. All shapes, sizes, and colors, and some of them are a little flashier than the others, but they're all good time.
Just like women.
One more thing that was like my favorite part about the whole weekend is God bless him, I love him to death, Drew Kennedy. He's a member of Team Fast Tracks, and he plays the bagpipes every time Team Fast Track jumps. You want to talk about a heart stringer, heart puller. Hearing him play those bagpipes when the American flags, Purple Heart flag, the honor member flags are coming down, if you don't have a tear in your eye, there's something wrong with you.
And he goes full kilt, like really full kilt.
Traditionally.
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
You don't want to ask him what's underneath.
Don't get underneath of them.
No, not at all. No, he was in a Jeep in front of me last year. I'm like, and the wind picked up. I was like, that is something I did not want to see, and I never want to see it again. And I think it was David's Jeep. Honestly, I think it was him and his wife were in the Jeep with Drew in the back. But
oh boy!
I mean, there's been some moments at Warrior Weekend. I think it might have been the first year, Dave, when that B-29 came in, and this old guy showed up, and he goes, "That's my airplane." And we're like, "No way, dude." He's like, "Yeah." He goes, "That's my airplane. I flew on that, in Normandy." I'm like, no, not happening. He goes, "Yeah, it's serial number so. So a couple of us walked out there with him, and sure enough, that's the airplane. He knew where every bullet hole was, where every patch was, everything." Wow. So then you've got him, and I wish I could remember his name, but I can't. And then you had Bill Wilch, who was one of the first 5 waves of Normandy. And he's like, "Yeah, all these things come over, and you just couldn't hear yourself talk with all the booms. And all of a sudden you just hear, wah, and look up, and it's nothing but a wall of planes." And then there was a Marine there, World War II guy that was at Guadalcanal. And they're passing the mic around to Bill and then to this other gentleman. And it gets to the Marine. And the only thing he said was, "Guadalcanal." And he handed the mic off. We're like, what just happened? It's like something out of a movie, right? Yeah. But getting that first-hand, story from that person that was there, that we all have seen the videos in movies and reenactments, but to get that first-hand knowledge from those men that were there is something that I will never forget. And I mean, it's the same thing with our kids hearing, about our experiences in Iraq, Afghanistan, or, whatever conflict you may have served in.
Right.
It's, we talked about the other night. It's not being taught anymore.
There's a great story that I remember. I know you'll remember this, Sam. So it's the first day of Warrior Weekend. There's like 100-some people in this banquet room at this hotel. And people are going around introducing themselves, and there's this hunched over old man. I asked him, "You want to tell a story?" He goes, "What? No." And then people go around, and then he walks up to me. He's like half my height. He's like, I want to tell my story. I go, "Okay, tell your story, man." And he proceeds to tell us about being a gunner on a bomber in World War II. He's on top in the bubble, and he's looking out over the wings. And there's holes in the wings, and the plane's clearly not going to fly for much longer. And everybody's left the plane but him and the co-pilot. And it's in a dive, and he has to climb down against gravity to get out of it and get out of the bottom of the plane. And he gets captured by the Germans, and he's in a German prison camp, and the Russians are closing in. It's towards the end of the war, and they're in the prison camp where The Great Escape, where Steve McQueen was in the movie, where all those guys escaped and they brought him back, and he's there when they bring him back. And he said, and then this old Prussian general from World War I who commands the place gets an order from Hitler to kill all the prisoners. There's 10,000 prisoners, and he tells the commandant to kill them all. And so this Prussian general ignores the orders of Hitler. It says, we're all marching to friendly lines. And so he said the Nazis are hunting the countryside looking for anybody they consider a traitor or anything and killing them, executing them. And so they make it across the countryside, and then the prison guards give the prisoners their weapons because they're walking into friendly lines, and they surrender to the Americans. And then this guy goes on he comes back and gets involved. He didn't ever graduate from high school, but they let him in college, and he gets an engineering degree somehow. He's in the jet fighter program with Chuck Yeager. And he, remember, this guy's still telling this whole story. You could hear a pin drop in this. And he's like, yeah. And then one of the fighter pilots crashes the plane, and the frame's bent, and we strip the whole thing down. And then the lead engineer quits. And I figured out how to put it back together. and it's out on the runway, and it's the pilot's getting ready to start it, and he waves me over. He goes, "Yeah, what do you need?" He goes, "I'm not starting this plane without you standing next to me, buddy, because I don't know what it's going to do." Right? And then he ends up in the rocket program with von Braun and the whole missile program and the race to space, and he has a career with NASA. And it just started with this hunched over little old guy coming up and going, yeah, I'd like to tell my story to everybody if I could, you know.
Like,
Oh, he went on for like an hour.
To tell his story though, right? But
Yeah.
look at the memory that you have with that, and that story that you have that you're able to retell right now. But had that man decided, like, no, I'm not going to tell my story, look what we would have missed.
Yeah.
All the history. Yeah.
Right, like the Vietnam veterans that were coming to the wall this past week, like some of the stories that they were saying, I was like, these are the things that we need to get out. And I'm so excited because we have like 3 different ones coming onto the podcast here
That's
soon.
cool.
And they're going to talk about their story. And those are ones you don't hear very often. Like the Vietnam veterans just don't let them. But like, so that's going to be super, super awesome. But I don't know. I think the thing that's excited me most about this show tonight and talking with you guys is how adamant you are about saying that name out loud. And I know, Sam, you were talking about that earlier with Willis and I. It is important. It's super important to not let go of those things and not let that person's name go to the wayside and be forgotten. And I think that's one of the most special things about you guys. There's all the camaraderie. There's pond fires, there's the jumps, there's the bagpipes and the jeeps and all this, but say that warrior's name. I think that's one of the most special and heartwarming things that I can tell you that I've taken away from Blue Skies already. And that flag, I'd love to just see that, just to be able to experience seeing what that consists of. And you guys just got really, really, really quiet on me. But
We're listening to you.
Hey, woo! We need some more blends.
Well, I have to pull a Candace on you guys. And what I really need to know, and I need everybody else watching that has been and will watch this or listen to it, I need everybody to know, how do you get involved? How do you donate? And what do you guys need most? And I think that I could probably get a different answer from all 3 of you.
I'll go first. I mean, like for Warrior Weekend, there's only one part of the event that's really truly public, and that's our parade. That's on Saturday, August the 10th, and it will roll into Miamisburg a little before 4. So if you're there in Miamisburg on August 10th, Saturday, you want to get there probably by 3:30, and then the parade will stop on the river. It's called Riverwalk Park. It's a really nice park in Miamisburg, right on the river. And in the middle of that, this half-an-hour block between 4 and 4:30, 100 Jeeps, a patriotic semi, Aaron Hart's truck. The skydiving team will jump in with all these flags: the Purple Heart flag, the Gold Star flag, big American flags, huge American flags. Probably my Ranger buddy Drew Kennedy in the kilt with no underwear, playing his bagpipes, and then people will get a chance to celebrate all the heroes in the Jeeps, and that's their opportunity to honor and remember the fallen and celebrate the warriors who survived with injuries and the first responders that are part of it. To donate, there is a link on the website. BS3G 4 letters.org, and there's a how to help, and you go in there and you can donate with a credit card. You can write a check. As far as getting more involved with Blue Skies, I kind of take the approach just show up, just get in and fit in, and there's ways to do that. We're not a big nonprofit, and we have an enormous volunteer base right now. But like, if you have a talent or a skill or something you want to contribute, we can talk about it.
What if someone has a name? What if somebody has that fallen warrior that they want to get to you guys? Is that something they can get on the website? Is there
like Sam? How are you? putting warriors out there for the demos, and then how can people sign the flag? What's a good way for them to get their signature on the flag?
Yeah, signing the flag is, I mean, a lot of times it's showing up at an event for a Gold Star fundraiser. I know the Woody Williams Foundation does one in Louisville every year at Louisville Slugger Field. And, but any event that we're jumping that flag at, if there's a Gold Star family, we encourage them to come sign the flag. Or through that website as well, they could sign up for next year's Warrior Weekend to remember, and then sign the flag at Warrior Weekend. But as far as getting a service member to be honored during the jump, you can send me that to my email, samuel.deeds@gmail.com, and we'll get your loved one honored for sure. And if there's a specific photo that you want us to jump with, just send me a picture of that too, and I'll print it off and we'll jump with that. If not, we usually use the DoD photo that Military Times put out when they the announcement was made.
And you said that's samuel.deeds@gmail?
Correct.
All right. I'm just going to share that out there for everybody, because I think it's super important to have that, and for somebody to feel like their family member is still being honored, and through you guys, I think is a pretty spectacular way to do that.
Yeah, and we jump with the thin blue line flag as well. So any families that have a fallen first responder, they're signing that flag as well. So that's just really cool. Another thing that we're doing, and there's not a whole lot of organizations out there that are doing anything with first responders at all, and we're one of the few. So it's another unique aspect of what Blue Skies does. And Warrior Weekend is the big thing, but like David said, there's family huddles throughout the year at Grainworks, and then there are some other events that come up, like the Dayton Dragons or the Christmas party every year for the Blue Skies family. But there's a link on there to volunteer too for Blue Skies on that website as well. So I mean, there's a number of things on the website to find out how you do it. And then for Team Fast Tracks. And for Team Fast Tracks, I think it's teamfasttracks.com. So it's TEAMFASTRAX. So teamfasttracks.com. And I mean, you can even reach out to, comment on there somewhere. There's a link to reach out or to contact us, and you can request your loved one to be, honored there as well. And that goes directly to our director of skydive operations.
Awesome.
If they want a free bottle of Blanton's, they can reach out to Matt Miller. I love bourbon.
But no, you're providing those, and I'm just in the wrong house right now.
Yeah. If you have any viewers that aren't military and they want to figure out how to give back, look up Muddy Buddies on Facebook, and if you have a Jeep, drive up for the event, and that's how you're going to meet some of these great warriors and great some Gold Star family members, and and you get to spend about an hour almost with them, riding around in the Jeep and playing music and talking, and let me stand on your seat and act the fool, so Muddy Buddies
from all over the place. I would love to come in and be a part of that. Like, even if they're not part of Muddy Buddies, just coming in and joining forces with them.
Yeah, you don't have to be part of Muddy Buddies, and because they're always looking for volunteers to come down and open up your Jeep. The only other thing that they require is you have removable doors, and it's a Wrangler, and and you put a badass American flag on there.
Oh, there we go. Thank you, Mike. So I want to ask you guys if I can do something a little crazy, right? I know he's been on it tonight. I love it. Thank you. Like, we need you on more often. Like, you might be co-hosting.
Oh, don't say that. You don't want him involved all the time. Oh man. No, I love Mike, Emily, and the whole.
I don't know. Tell me if this is okay or not. But I have a request because of who you guys are, and if it's okay, because we started the show with this. You guys very much outwardly were saying the names of some of these fallen soldiers, and I don't know. Can we do that? Is it okay if maybe we say a few of those during this podcast now?
Yeah.
Like, Okay. If you guys are okay with it, I'm going to start. I'm going to give you 3 of them. They're not people that I know, but I think it's important that we still share their names. I actually went and I looked up for 2014. I'm going to take that significantly through Blue Skies and really kind of a kickoff for you guys. Then we got Army Specialist Joseph W. Riley, Army Sergeant Major Wardell Turner, and Army Major Jonathan D. Walker.
I'll say Brent Hendricks, Ron Condre, Benny Atkins, Taylor Brzezinski, Rocky Zanowick, James Grove. Stop there.
I have 8. I lost 8 brothers in one day. Staff Sergeant Gail Logos, Staff Sergeant Martin, Staff Sergeant Sergeant Scusa, Sergeant Griffin, Sergeant Kirk, Sergeant Hart, Specialist Mace, PFC Thompson.
So since I'm the co-chair of the Mogadishu Mile, I'm going to read off the names of the 19 men that died during the Battle of Mogadishu and those that died the days following from their wounds received on October 3rd. So Gary Gordon, Randall Shugart, Timothy Martin, Earl Fillmore Jr., Matthew Riserson, Daniel Bush, Raymond Frank, Clifton Walcott, Donovan Briley, William Cleveland, Thomas Field, James Joyce, Dominic Pila, Lorenzo Ruiz, James Smith, James Cavaco, Richard Kowalowski, Cornell Houston, and James Martin.
Thank you guys for doing that. Appreciate it. I know that that's very hard to do at times. Especially
but I also want to include, Taylor Brzezinski, Tyler Warndorf, and Justin Sims. Tyler Warndorf and Justin Sims came through my recruiting office when I was a recruiter, and I served with them in 3A, and also Taylor Brzezinski. I served with him, and the first time I met him, I'm like, "Where are you from?" He's like, "Oh, Fairfield, Ohio." I'm like, "Oh, really?" Because I was a recruiter in Fairfield for a short period of time before I transferred down here to Kentucky. So those 3 for sure, just because the connection I have with all 3 of them.
Yeah, and then we got Scott Morrison.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Mike. Yeah. Just remember that. Remember how important it is, you guys. Keep saying their names out loud. Always. No, we can't forget anybody. I know I kind of sombered that down a little bit, but I think it's super important, and I apologize for that. But I thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing in some of those things that are not easy. But I think it's a really big part of what you guys are doing with Blue Skies, and I think it's one of the most important things for these families of our fallen soldiers, and even some of those Purple Heart recipients and your first responders as well. Looking at the importance of carrying them on, and you guys do it in such a spectacular way, and bringing bonds to families and brothers and sisters that you probably can't find somewhere else. And kudos to you guys for continuing to do what you do. And personally, from me, thank you for your service, and thank you for continuing to serve your community and those around you. You guys are doing something, as Willis and us say, it's phenomenal and simply amazing. And I thank you for continuing those on.
Cool.
How's that Blanton's over there?
Woo!
I'm empty. I need some more.
You can tell Matt's feeling it.
I feel like we're winding down. I want to shout out Mike Tilton and his family because his wife Emily volunteers, does quite a bit for Blue Skies and has for a long time. Mike's had a career in the Army and had combat tours. And what's kind of interesting, people ask how they can help and get involved. His daughter Isabel wrote a book. It is fiction based on kind of metaphors for what she experienced growing up in a military family.
Oh, wow.
And really cool. And she's asked to come back this year. She's into astronomy. She's part of this when you stargaze, astrological society of something, Cincinnati, and she asked to come out and add that as an element to Warrior Weekend. People that are passionate about that, and so during Warrior Weekend, our honored guests will be able to go out, and her people are going to show them the stars. And she's involved on her own initiative and leadership. Isabel is doing that, which is kind of like how people get involved in Warrior Weekend and end up playing bagpipes with no underwear on. And they just kind of like, hey, I like doing this. You guys interested in having this element to Warrior Weekend? And we have service dogs and comfort dogs. People bring them out, and we don't really recruit for that kind of stuff. It just kind of comes in front of one of us, and we're like, hey, what if we add this to it? What do you think? And usually we're just like, I don't know. Let's try it and see what happens.
No, what usually happens is you give Dave an idea, and he's like, sounds good. Run with it. So you have to figure it out, So if you come up with an idea for David, be prepared to run with it.
You better have a plan and
or
the
come up with
and everything else.
Or come up with one.
Hey, Mike Tilton, put Isabel's book title in the chat.
I was going to say, is that published? Is
Ember's
it something
Dragon?
that people can get?
Yeah.
I'd love to see something like that, especially the perspective of a child. And perfect. Is that where we find the book, Mike? I don't know. We might need to bring him on sometime, Sam.
I mean, he's only on because it's Blue Skies. So I'm just throwing it out there.
Of course.
I think he saw Dave was going to be on tonight, and he decided to tune in because he hasn't tuned in any other time I've been on. So I can see where the love is there.
Uh-oh. Mike, you might be.
I tell you, I mean, there's been some funny things happen through Warrior Weekend too. We used to go to the Dayton Dragons baseball game. I think it was year one, maybe. We're all done, and they're kicking us out, and like to the point that they're actually kicking us out, and the parking lot's empty, and all the Jeeps have pulled off, and Dave's nowhere to be found, and there's like 10 of us that need a ride back, and I just happen to have my truck. I'm like, we can cram as many in here as we can, and we're trying to call David. He's not answering. We got the creatures are trying to call. The creatures are trying to call David. He's not answering. Then finally he answers. I'm like, hey, we got people at the stadium. He goes, no, we got everybody. I'm like, I'm telling you, we don't. I'm here. We don't have everybody. And all the buses were gone. So, but I mean, there was a great bonding experience that happened between the 10 of us that got left behind. And like I said, I just happened to have my truck there. So I was able to pile like 6 or 7 of us into the. It's called having a good time. And, we were all having too much of a good time. But no, I mean, we were spread out in between like 4 or 5 different suites.
Right.
And the 10 of us that got left behind were at the very end, and everybody else was like closer and in between. And they're like, yeah, we get everybody. And away we went. So we don't do that anymore. We have full, there's full accountability of people now. So people don't get left behind anymore. But I mean, it was a learning experience, right? You have to, year one, you got to go through every trial and tribulation, right? To figure out how this thing's going to run. But,
right.
But, and there's some other, things that happened as well. But
yeah, that is funny stuff. Yeah.
What is Mike sharing? He's just putting all.
I don't know. I'm gonna guess. He said the first one was the astronomical stuff, so I'm guessing this one maybe for the book. What's the title of the book, Mike?
I think it's Ember's Dragon.
Yeah, I think that's right. Something like that.
So is it a short book? Is it a large book?
I think it's a large book. I do remember that being kind of fiction, dragons, and
But if you're able to read through that and have that experience and live that life, that's kind of neat how she wrote that about it.
And she was very young when she wrote the book, too.
Yeah.
Amber's Drive. Yeah.
It's like from the mouth of a babe, like what you get. And it's probably
Yeah.
really interesting to read. I'd love to. I'm going to have to look that up and grab that. So thank you, Mike, for sharing that. All right, you guys. It has been absolutely wonderful having you on. I want to know what we've missed. Let us know. What have we not talked about? What do you want the nation and anybody that watches and listens to this, what do you want them to know about Blue Skies? Awesome.
I mean, I think the biggest thing is, you know, any nonprofit runs off money and people, right? And if you don't have either, you can't be successful. And
absolutely,
every dollar, every cent helps to get these guys and girls that are coming in to have an extremely life-changing weekend to build camaraderie and become family with new people. And I know I can reach out to any of the guys that I came in with that first year and then the years after. And if I need an ear, they'll listen. But yeah, everything helps. Anything helps. Like visit the website, you know, you can see where to donate. You can see how to get involved. You can see how to, if you're a veteran that's a Purple Heart recipient or post-traumatic stress TBI, you know, you can see where you can fill out to come in for next year. Same thing with the Gold Star family. Same thing with the family of fallen first responders. It's all on the website.
Okay.
You know, not just for Blue Skies and organization, but, you know, just as America as a whole, you know, be proud of, you know, the military, be proud of your first responders. You know, I'm not saying you have to run up to every veteran and, you know, say thank you for your service, but, you know, just a simple head nod, acknowledge, you know, them wearing the hat, you know, a jacket, a sweatshirt, whatever. You know, just be proud of, you know, of what we have done, but the ones that never made it back home have done.
Yeah.
Yep.
And free Chick-fil-A, that helps too.
Our free dinners.
Yeah, I'm kidding. Yeah.
Wait, who gets free Chick-fil-A?
We have some good sponsors.
We do.
Yeah.
Damn. In the mirror, you gotta do it the other way.
Chick-fil-A, Mission Barbecue.
Yeah, we get some good partners that come out for us. We're very grateful for that. Just
awesome.
Yeah.
Very well deserved.
Yeah, I'm going to leave. My parting thought would be hearts are like parachutes. They function best when they're open. And like just open yourself up to things, you know. I don't even want to know what that means.
We are not going down that road.
I mean,
Does it involve peanut butter?
No.
Oh.
No, we're not diving down that hole at all.
I want to know now.
That's something we can talk about offline.
No, I want to know.
Mike, message me separately. I know.
I'm sure that'll stay private.
Banana story.
That's a BA discussion before April, which is my wife. We don't talk about that anymore.
Message me separately.
That's when I used to drink. This is water, by the way. I used to drink. And
you don't eat bananas anymore.
I mean, I still eat banana, and I don't care about it. But Mike doesn't eat a banana; he won't even touch it. But
you can find.
He just texted me.
Look here.
Oh, he just texted me. Ha 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 ha. He's laughing about it, and then you're welcome.
Yeah, look, I'm gonna give you. There's my personal. Go ahead and send me a message on there. I got to hear the banana story.
Yeah, it has to do with Korea. Actually, Willis might know because he was in Korea with me. It's not. Yeah. Again, it's nothing that needs to be discussed on this podcast.
How often do you guys see Sam act like this? He's a little tiptoeing, a little worried right now. He's really drinking that water and hydrating.
I'm telling you, that's BA. We don't talk about that.
No, it's great. It has been an honor to have you guys on here. I thank you for everything that you're doing and spending some time with us tonight, even though we interrupted your bourbon tasting.
It's not tasting; it's gone.
It's not gone. We got plenty
more. How much is left in that bottle? We got to know.
Hold on.
Well, he hasn't got up to fill his cup, so we know there's got to be.
Oh no, you got plenty.
I just opened it tonight.
Watched it.
Right.
Man.
Sam's saying we're,
Well, the Mogadishu Mile stuff, man. That
10th Mountain stuff was, or that
POW.
POW
So-
stuff.
one shot lasts like 2 shots of blends.
It's definitely, you've had more than just the blend. Hey, you know what? Enjoy yourselves. You guys deserve it. You got a huge thing coming up very, very soon, which is crazy exciting. I know, super stressful. And
It is, but it's not.
also worth it.
You know, all of the ambassadors and some of the alumni will arrive on the 7th, and we'll have a meeting of what our expectations are, and then he needs that letter. Oh, he wants your letter, Matt. He wants the S.
All right, I'll give you the letter for the bottle.
But then, the 8th, the new guests start arriving, and that's when it all starts. So, if you're the praying type, pray for good weather. And the way these guys and girls and the families have an amazing weekend. It's going to happen anyway. I mean, we have an indoor facility that we can use while we're up there, but to get the full experience, we need some decent weather. So let's hope for that.
Yeah. Always, definitely. We'll definitely be praying for that. I can't wait to hear about it afterwards. I need to know. I want to know. And so do you guys have a Facebook page that people can go in there and follow and see and have get to see the pictures of everything that happens?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's Blue Skies. Just go find the Blue Skies for Good Guys and Gals Warrior Foundation on Facebook.
So it's the whole.
Yep.
It's the whole.
You probably don't have to type the whole thing out. Once you get going, it'll
I think the link is on the bottom of the page, on the main page on the website too.
Yeah.
Like the Facebook.
Okay.
page.
Okay. All right. Look, it's me. I was like, why did that jump? I thought somebody put something on there. It's me.
I thought she was
Okay.
well, Facebook. Like, wait a minute.
Okay. All right. Well, I am gonna wrap us up here and let you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. And thank you again so much for your time.
Thank you.
It's been great.
Peace out. Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course.
Good
Good night,
show.
you guys.
Yeah.
How great was that, Sam? I love that you're a part of that. So you're able to really have that personal experience with that.
Yeah, and that's the main reason I reached out to Willis and wanted to be on tonight, because I for the first year, as an honoree, and then coming back as an ambassador, and matter of fact, there's the John P. Hart Senior Memorial Leadership Award that I have over here that was presented to actually my wife, because I was at a jump out in Phoenix. That was, but by the Blue Skies organization. So that's probably displayed in my home. But yeah, I mean, they do amazing things, and it's not just Warrior Weekend. Throughout the year, I mean, there was the one time that my AC went out, and David's like, "Hey, Sam's struggling," and a bunch of people donated enough money for me to fix my AC, so I wasn't struggling financially and putting my family in a hole. So it's more than just the Warrior Weekend. It's a true family, and they do so much stuff outside of Warrior Weekend that, I mean, the hour and 40 we've been on here still wouldn't even cover it.
Yeah. I feel like we really didn't have a chance to actually touch on everything, but it's exciting to be able to share those personal experiences and those personal stories and the names and each little thing that you guys get yourselves involved in. And it's such a beautiful thing. I'm telling you, it's like, this is a podcast. I was full of goose pimples the entire time. And I love those. It's real, it's heartfelt and genuine. And that's what we love.
Yeah. And like David said, I mean, there's no brick and mortar, we operate everything through the team fast tracks or start skydiving. So everything goes through that building that's already bought and paid for, or, being rented by them. And, there's one person that is getting paid to do administrative duties. But other than that, there's no money goes anywhere except for into the programs and into the people that they're trying to serve. So it's truly amazing that, the way that this organization operates and how they do and how much they've grown since 2014.
Right. Yeah. And like you guys were talking about, just the network that you guys are creating with that, and even for the families. And I don't know, it's awesome. It's admirable for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy too, because like Matt came through and then he tried out for the team a couple of years ago, and then we've had 3 or 4 other guys that have come through Warrior Weekend that are now teammates of mine on the team that are either jumping or on the ground. And so I mean, it does circle to become a big family. And I had Matt with me out at Stanford Stadium earlier this year for a soccer game, and that was his true evaluation of, okay, can he handle this by himself? And he did a phenomenal job. And it's just cool to see him come through the program and then step up and want to be part of the team, and then volunteer to come back every year as the medical staff. So, and then, the ambassadors get to come back and help the people with the weekend. And then alumni who come through the program before that aren't back as ambassadors, they can come in on their own dime, and, they'll put them up and feed them and everything else. And they can help with, like, there's a big ropes course and some other stuff that goes on, and they'll put them in charge of one of those obstacles and to make sure that they're doing it. So there's some team building stuff and, camaraderie and fellowship that happens throughout the entire weekend from the word go, to include the people that are driving from the airport back to the camp. Those volunteers that are drivers are getting that's the first person that they're seeing from the organization. Yeah. And, that puts the whole thing in perspective for them. Okay, this is going to be a great weekend, or, dude, I don't want to be back in the van with that guy or girl again. So it's awesome. And I wish that everybody could get a glimpse of what, goes on throughout Warrior Weekend. And, I was hoping Willis was going to be able to get off work to come in and to go live, day to day through the event. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Maybe we can get him in next year and people can get a real in-depth look.
Like, I guess if Willis would share things with his co-host sometimes, maybe somebody else could have got off work.
Yeah.
And went live. Like, possibilities. If you can't get it through Willis,
yeah, as soon as I know the dates for next year, I'll let you guys know, and we'll get you guys on the books to come out and, show a glimpse of what Warrior Weekend is. I had him come out for the Mogadishu Mile this year or last year, and hopefully he gets to come back this year for it as well. I mean, it's just a good time all around, and the funds raised for that goes to support Blue Skies. If I didn't believe in the mission, I wouldn't be supporting it. I wouldn't be promoting it. And, that's one organization that I can truly say, saved my life, changed my life, and continues to do so on a regular basis.
I know we're all thankful for that. Every one of you that we can keep around. That's
for sure.
For that. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Like I said,
thanks for having me be the co-host.
Of course. Anytime. You're welcome to come on anytime and join us. Look, Willis is still on here. That's Willis commenting. Of course. We said that you couldn't leave it alone. But
yeah, right. I knew it.
No, the whole time. It's okay. And we did just fine. But
we don't need no Willis. We can make this happen.
I know. What you talking about, Willis?
Now we're both going to be fired.
Hey, I get fired almost every episode. I feel really weird the past few because I haven't. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Right.
But it was a goal. It used to be a goal. It's how many times can I get fired per episode? But hey,
no, it was great. I mean, I greatly appreciate, coming on to co-host with you and, to help kind of to guide and, share my experiences through Blue Skies. Yeah. I mean, that was the biggest reason I wanted to come on tonight is, to get multiple perspectives of it. And I didn't know Matt was going to be on until like 10 minutes before. And David's like, hey, Matt's going to be on with me. I was like, oh, all right, cool. But yeah, I mean,
it was great. I think everything was great. Having that different, yes, it was wonderful. And sure. I truly appreciate you. I appreciate them. I love what Blue Skies is doing. I can't wait to look more into it and tell more people about it because it's so unique. It's something totally different. And I'm sure that somebody comes to mind for somebody that they'd love to tell them some information about it. So I'm happy that Homefront was able to spread some more word about that. And hopefully somebody else wants to pick that up too.
Yeah. And one thing that didn't get discussed that I need to touch on real quick is as those first time people that are coming in, all your expenses are paid, your flight's covered, and then of course, once you're on site, the meals and everything's covered. Blue Skies pays for your flight in, pays for your flight home, and your lodging is covered because they're right there at the camp. It's not like, hey, you need to come in. You can get here. We got you once you're here. No, they pay for you to come in. And if they invite you back as an ambassador and you live out, you get to come back in, and they pay for your travel too. I mean, we have ambassadors coming from Hawaii this year. Of course, I'm coming in from Northern Kentucky, right? So I'm 50 minutes to the camp, but Matt's already in. He came in from New York, and I know we have a bunch of other ones coming in from like Tennessee and Oklahoma, and some of those other places. But some of the alumni that live close, they'll pop in and they'll work throughout the entire weekend. And even some that live out in Oklahoma just drive in because they want to be part of the weekend again to help other people.
Yeah. I wish we could be there. I so wish we could be there just to get the glimpse. Definitely we need to get the word out with the Facebook page and have people out there watching and checking it out and seeing what they can either get involved with, support, or donate to, and provide for these families and these veterans and our first responders that have experienced some of the harder trials and bringing those together. So thank you again so much, Sam. I really do appreciate your time and sharing your personal stories with us. It's been great. But we're going to go ahead and close the shop for the night. But like we always say here on Homefront, stay safe out there. We got your six.
Got your six.
Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed the show.
Suggestions and comments are always welcome.
Cannot wait to have another great show with y'all.
Don't forget you can find HomeFront Sitrep on Apple, Amazon, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts.
Stay safe out there. I got your six.